Cause I'm so sick of love songs, so tired of tears. Hey y'all, today I'm doing the end of year book tag. Long awaited, uh, heavily delayed or very delayed. It's almost the end of January, but you know what? Better late than never, right? Okay, I saw Lyra Reads do this on booktube, so all the questions I got from her, and I'll also make sure to put them in the description box down below. Yeah, let's just get right into it, innit? So the first question is, what was the most disappointing book of the year? Honestly, I'd have to say Magnolia Parks. For the Magnolia Parks girlies out there, I'm sorry, but I really tried. Like, I really tried, and I'm convinced that I'm not even convinced. I'm lying. Do I lie? I do lie. I think that maybe the rest of the books might be more so my cup of. I lie. I lie. I don't know. It was advertised as being Gossip Girl, but in the UK. So I was like, I'm gonna eat this up. But the characters were just so unlikable, y'all. It was hard for me to really like compartmentalize my feelings and just like see the brighter side, or just know that maybe in the latter books of the series I'd probably get to like them more, but I just can't do it. It was a little bit entertaining, and then the ending, not too much on that ending. Anyways, I don't wanna slaughter the book or really come for the book, so I'll leave it at that. Next is, what was the underbook ooh, what was the underdog book of the year? I'd have to say Only for the Weak. Oh my gosh. That book was just everything. Guys, he booked a yacht. A yacht for her. Like, are you kidding me? I don't even remember their names. I lie. I remember the names. Janelle and Rome? Was it Rome or Roman? I think it was Rome. Janelle and Rome. Oh my gosh. I'm waiting for a non-people cover to come out so I could literally buy that book, because it was just chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. Honestly, I really loved the book, and for how short it was, I really ate it up. Like, I think in a 24 time period is how fast I read it. So if you want something quick, I would definitely recommend that book. Favorite couples of the year. I have so many. It's so hard to choose. Okay, I think I have an idea. You guys probably didn't even think I had books here, but I only have like copies of my absolute favorites. That's why. My first pick for a favorite book couple, Gwen and Bo from Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. Oh, so I love how Gwen was so independent, and then Bo is just like really knows her like through and through. Like, I love them independently, individually, and then together. It's just my second favorite book couple. I'm using this as a representative. Poppy and Castile. Yeah, I don't know. They're like one of my favorite couples, and then the From Blood and Ash series is also my top favorite fantasy series of all time. Yeah, it's like the best of both worlds, isn't it? I just love I'm down bad for them. They're just so like witty, and their banter is top tier. And then I don't know, the fantasy just adds a whole nother aspect. Also, it is a enemies to lovers romance. So yeah, A1, A1. Next is a book that was overhyped. I'd have to say Happy Place. I'm such a fan of Emily Henry's writing, but Happy Place just fell short for me. And I swear up and down it's because it was marketed as a romance when it should not have been. So I don't know. And I just felt like all the characters were acting just below their age range. Like the miscommunication, and I don't know. It was just giving like 20s. And they weren't. I think they were like 30s, bordering on 40s or something like that. I don't know. But it was just a little bit immature for their age. I hate to say it. But I'm so excited for Funny Story coming out this year. Next, we have favorite book characters of the year. Without a doubt, without hesitation, Maddie Mame from the book Mame. Oh my gosh, I love this girl. I was going through so many aspects of the book. Like I was just reading through it and I was just like, this girl is literally me. And I've never identified with the character so much. And it was so unexpected too. That late coming of age aspect really did it for me because I feel like I'm having a come of age later than most people do. And I'm so excited for the reread. Like I've been waiting to reread it since the first time I read it. I think back in February or March. So I think it's about time, isn't it? And look at the cover. I didn't like the US cover, so I had to go across the pond and get the UK cover. Highly recommend. Anyways, a book that surprised me. So I have two picks for this one because I was thoroughly surprised this year. The first one is Reckless by Elsie Silver. This book was just the cutest thing ever, and I was just surprised by it because one, the main character, which is Winter, I didn't really like her in the first book in the series. And to be fair, I've only completely read 3 books in this series and I DNF'd the second one, Heartless, and then I just didn't read Powerless because I wasn't feeling it from the sample. So I read Hopeless, Reckless, and Flawless. This one, there's just something like simply powerful about it because Theo just really fought for Winter and really just stuck it out. I don't know, she's just written differently from like other characters that I've tended to dislike or just not liked reading about, like Nesta from A Court of Silver Flames. We shall not talk about that book. Back onto the topic of this book, I really loved it through and through, and I can't get over the cover, like the baby cowboy boot. Yeah, it literally contains small town, which I don't like mean older sister, or like where they share an ex-boyfriend. And I think it's kind of like reverse Grumpy Sunshine. Yeah, there's a bit of that in here. Oh my gosh, how could I forget the most surprise pregnancy? I usually didn't like that, but after this book, full disclosure, I started reading a few with surprise pregnancy. I'm guilty of that. I only like the trope when there's a certain circumstance where they reach out and I don't know how it happens, but it's on neither of their fault. But if the surprise pregnancy is like she's literally keeping it from him, I don't like those types of books. Yeah, if I'm confusing you, it's okay, babes. I'm confused too. The next book in this section that I picked was Alone with You in the Ether by Emily Blake? Olivia Blake. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't, and I hate saying this because I'm just like, I didn't like this book by this author, but like, I didn't enjoy reading One for My Enemy. I didn't enjoy that book. Sad to say. Her writing is just different. That's what I'll say. And I feel like it's very hard to read sometimes. So I was pleasantly surprised when I really liked the characters in Alone with You in the Ether and I could follow their story, and I just really ate it up. Okay, next is new favorite author that I've discovered this year. Now this one is hard because I tend to not read books by the same author, which is really weird. Like I've finished series by the same author, but I don't think I could count that because it's, within the same universe. I don't know. Let me just pick one because I think I've read a lot of books by this author now, so I think I could ascertain that I do really like her books and I like her writing and typically like her messages. Angela Y. Davis. This is one of the books that I have from her, but I've also read Are Prisons Obsolete? And a couple of other ones that I can't name off the top of my head by her. I love reading social justice books, so her books just really hit the nail on the head in terms of informing me, and then the way that they're written make it digestible. Um, so yeah, I'd say Angela Davis. Love that. Next, for my happiest read of the year, The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. It was just so homey and so cozy and everything I needed to read at the time. So I really loved it. And the found family aspect too. It's just a wholesome book. Next, for most frustrating read of the year, I have a few. Um, Honestly, I'm surprised I don't have more because there were a few, like, there were a lot. Um, Unfortunately, I've narrowed it down to about two options. Um, it's because the other ones I tended to DNF them when they started to frustrate me. The ones that I ended up picking are The Other Black Girl. The main character just did not do enough for me. She was making certain decisions, and I was just like, girl. It was that type of read for me. The next one is Ace of Spades. Again, another book where a main theme is racism. They're going through a lot. There were two main characters in this one where it flipped back and forth in pops. It was hard for me to read, like harder than The Other Black Girl was. I would definitely recommend you check trigger warnings because yeah, it was a tough one, isn't it? I don't know. It didn't make me feel good after. The ending didn't do enough because they were literally going through a lot of trauma for the majority of the book. Just check the trigger warnings on that one. Next is what was the best adaptation of the year? Hands down, where is it? I keep on forgetting I have some of the books here, so I have to show them. Hands down. Oh, we can make a good thing bad. Daisy Jones and the Six. Hands down, best adaptation of the year. The music, the characters, the filming, the dedication to their characters. This adaptation ate down. They did them so proud. This book was a surprise to me when I read it. I think I read it in 2022. And I've never read anything that was like interview style. And these characters feel, I was about to say felt, but they still feel so real to me. I'm partially convinced that they're a real band. And the book adaptation helped with that. I just, I just loved it. It's messy though. It's so messy, but I ate it. I ate it up. I ate it up. Highly recommend watching that. And then next question is the longest book I've read this year. This year is The Crown of Gilded Bones, and that is also in the From Blood and Ash series. Um, yeah, I mean, there's not much commentary on it. It was a really great book, and it stood at 645 pages. Yeah, it was a solid book, and the font is really tiny, but I held through for Poppy and Castile. Next is the shortest book I've read this year. That would have to be Le Petit Prince. Really great book. Really made me nurture my inner child, and I love the movie so much. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. And then I decided when I went to Paris earlier in the year that I wanted to read the book. And I kept it on my nightstand and I read it like every other night. It was just a really good time. Yeah, 94 pages. 94 pages of loveliness. If you like reading or like just mixing up your reading and reading shorter books or even books that you didn't really get to read as a child, I highly recommend that one. Next question is favorite cover of the year. I'd have to say Reckless, of course, because of the baby boot, and just like the vibes. Like it's giving everything. Yeah, so I'd have to say Reckless, Rouge by Mona Awad. If you've seen the cover, it's just a testament to everything that goes on in the book, but it's like wrapped up in a pretty bow. Every time I saw that cover before reading it, I was just like, I have to read this book. Okay, so the next question is a book that I haven't stopped thinking about. So I have If You Had Been With Me. And if you know anything about this book, if you've read it, I'm glad we're together on this. It'll break you. It broke me, and I haven't stopped thinking about it. And I can't wait to get broken again when the second book in the series comes out. The next book I haven't stopped thinking about is Freedom is a Constant Struggle by Angela Y. Davis. You can see the contents of it, very relevant to discussions today and what is going on in the world. So I definitely haven't stopped thinking about her words and all the things that she's brought up. Yeah, I've just been mulling over it because it's just so important. I would consider this essential reading. Mame, of course, I haven't stopped thinking about it. I could definitely say that it was my favorite book of the year. Haven't stopped thinking about it. And last but not least, has to be Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. Besides me loving the couple in this book, I've just been thinking about rereading it since the last time I read it in March. And I don't know, this is just like such a gut-wrenching, real, but also happy and funny at times story. I don't know if that made sense, but I just I just really love this book. And when I read the arc for the second book in the series, it just made me want to pick this up all over again. So for cringiest book I've read this year, I'd have to give it to Blindside by Candy Steiner. I don't remember much about this book, but I do remember it was like a fake dating, let's make someone that I have a crush on jealous trope. And I just don't like that. It's cute in certain instances, but it was a bit cringy in this book. I think I remember her having like thigh-high cat socks. And not to throw shade at any cat sock wearers. Yeah, cat sock wearers. It's just not my cup of tea. And I think it was mentioned fairly often, so it cringed me out a bit. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Unpopular book I loved. I definitely have to say Restless Resistance, and I wish I had it with me, but I have not bought it yet. I'm looking to get it secondhand, so I should actually buy that soon. But yeah, I haven't heard much on it. I just love the elements in this book. It discusses hustle culture, grind culture, basically how important it is to rest. It was just everything I needed to hear at the moment that I read it, and I can't wait to reread it. I tell you, we're getting down to it. I've been talking for so long, so I think we're gonna speed run through the next few questions. So the highest and lowest rated books on Goodreads. The first one is This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan. Its rating is 4.65. For the lowest rated books on Goodreads, it's tied between two. The first one is The Other Black Girl, and the second one is Fracture Me. That one is in the Shatter Me series, but they both stand at a rating of 3.37. I think them being the lowest rated on Goodreads is fairly accurate, and I'll let that speak for itself. The next question is, what are my favorite quotes of the year? So this one was a bit hard because I feel like I had to go through my favorite books, or certain books that really resonated with me, and then pick them out. The first one is from Open Water. It says, how wonderful is it to realize amidst thrum of a bass drum that sometimes it is a joy to be alive. I don't know, this one just, because I love to dance, and I think that dancing is such a freeing experience, and it's so cathartic. Oh, it's just, and it's so poetic too, I just love a bit of poetry. The next one is also from the same book. It's Dancing in Protest, Moving in Joy. I mean, again, it's poetic, but I feel like as Black people, we dance in protest to what has been done to us, against all of the struggles that we're going through. I don't know, it just ate. The next quote was, "You are enough. You can rest. You are worthy of care." And that's from Restless Resistance. I don't know, it just served as a mantra for me throughout the rest of the year. Um, and something that really, really stuck with me. And when I read it in the book, I was just like, oh, this message is for me. So, yeah, those are my 3 favorite quotes of the year. So, next question is, what is the book with the most unique concept? I'd have to say One Dark Window, just because of the card system. I've never seen anything like that in a fantasy. The next book I chose for this was The Naturals. Um, just the fact that the kids or teenagers were the ones helping out the FBI. I felt like that could be me. I grew up watching NCIS, Criminal Minds. I don't know, there's a few others. And I just felt like I could help out the FBI. I was like, I could solve this case. So I just loved reading something like that. Okay, we're getting down to the last 3 questions. So, what is a book that I'd reread? The books that I've read and loved and mentioned, I would reread all of them. So, I'd have to say, If He Had Been With Me, Happy Hour, From Blood and Ash series, Out on a Limb, Mommy. Like, you get the gist. I'd reread all of these books. Before I Let Go, Reckless. Okay, I'll stop now. I'll stop. You get the point. Next question is, what is my reading goal reflection and my 2024 reading goal? So for 2020, I've been referencing so many years in this video, so I'm like, in 20, what year are we in? What year am I talking about? But yeah, for 2023, I read like 120. Am I lying? Hold the phone. I technically ended up reading 130 books. My reading goal was a mere 80 books. It was definitely a lot. It's hard remembering characters' names and plots, but I don't know, I just read so much diverse novels compared to 2022 and found so many different favorites. And then for 2024, I definitely don't have any numericals. I would want to be more intentional about the books that I read in terms of just reading more diverse books from diverse authors, reading from indie authors, reading from the library more instead of buying books and then figuring out I don't like them and then having to figure out how to donate, sell, return them. So I definitely just want to be more intentional in 2024. And the last question is, after 2023 reading, what am I prioritizing in 2024? I kind of already answered this. Yeah, more diverse authors, borrow more from the library, secondhand and local bookshop, but more so secondhand and borrow more from the library. I think I practically touched on everything. This has been a long one. I don't remember what I've said. I hope that I answered all the questions and really let you guys know more about me and all the books that I've read in 2023. So, yeah. I need a break from talking. So, I hope you like this one, and I'll see you in my next video. Okay, bye.